Hi and welcome to FilmDirt. For this video I'm going to be talking about Batman Forever. Now I've got a few opinions, I guess. I guess I could say an opinion or two about this movie. Some people may not like the opinion. I actually quite like this movie for the most part. Obviously there are problems with it. Mainly to do with tone, and various story threads throughout don't finish or go anywhere, or it's confusing loose ends here and there. I'll try and touch on those in this review if I can. But the main plus point, I think Val Kilmer, taken over from Keaton, I think he's really good in the role. I think I don't know, his persona sort of comes across as someone that's hiding something within. And I know a lot of Val movies are like that. Like he's keeping stuff bottled up. He's obviously got problems, but he's not showing them. They're not on the surface. And that comes across in this movie. Now, as Batman, he's very good. I think the suit is good. It's a bit too shiny, maybe. Could do with a few scuffs. But I know this is a lighter tone movie, and I think that was the intention, wasn't it, with following Batman Returns and how dark and strange the tone was. This is very much for kids, but there's definitely some adult themes going on here. Often mentions of duality and keeping things bottled up, especially during his conversations with Nicole Kidman's character Chase. And they're using ink blot Rorschachs to try and find out what he's thinking inside. But that story thread doesn't seem to go anywhere. Now, I'm aware there is an extended version of this movie. They're calling it the director's cut, and there's a bit of a movement online that's begging Warners to release it. And I think they should, because the original script and the various story threads that they begin in this movie, they don't seem to go anywhere, and we know that certain themes were put to film, and they need to recut this movie for sure and release an extended version, which I understand is the version that Joel Schumacher first submitted to Warners, and the finished version was not supervised by Joel, or he did it reluctantly. This is not his version that he submitted. Apparently there's an extra 30 odd minutes to this film. I think we need to see it, and now that Joel Schumacher sadly has passed away, and this film needs to come out. It really does need to be seen, because I think there may be a hidden gem in this movie. I think with the extra scenes, I think it might help. Little teases we saw with the giant bat, I think that's worth looking at. That's worth exploring and see what context they were presented. Yeah, I think that really needs to be released. So if you're watching Warners, I think you need to really put that version of the movie out. Okay, let's look at the villains, which were the Riddler. Far too over the top by Jim Carrey, far too over the top. I don't think he was playing the Riddler. At times he was just playing himself. Now again, I know that it was a lighter tone movie and it was all just poppy comic book, but I think we could have toned that down and made him a little bit more sinister. We saw hints of that. We did see Jim Carrey bring something a little bit sinister. They should have stuck with that, but we just seem to have got misguided somehow with lots of antics and facial gestures and stuff like that. I think we could have toned that down just a bit. Now, I've got some thoughts on the Batmobile, where, to me, with all the ribs and the visual inner workings of it, I think it just looks too fragile. If it was chasing an armoured vehicle or a criminal's car, it doesn't look like it's sturdy enough to hold together. It's looks like it'll fall apart. You know, if there's one knock and it would just disintegrate. I like the big fins at the back. That's a nice design, and the big exhaust. Yep, very good, very good. Very looks good on camera. But I think if they should have kept the Batmobile from the Keaton movies and maybe update it slightly, because that one it looked a little bit more solid. Hard to describe its look. It's more solid and mean looking, tough. Yeah, tough and means business. The Forever Mobile, I don't know. It's the same kind of silhouette, similar in many respects, but yeah, I think it just looks a bit too fragile. And all the neon lights as well, they could have done without that. The whole movie just looks a bit too clean. It doesn't seem to be much that's wrong with it. It looks quite modern. I know that's probably the look they're going for, poppy, colourful, lots of neon everywhere, some very undangerous, unthreatening thugs. I think they could have scuffed things up a bit, and it's still, even though they were going for a lighter toned movie, I think they could have gone a bit harder but not too much. If they're aiming for kids, that's fine, but just a little bit more grime, and I think they could have gone a little bit further with the crime aspect of it and the design of how scummy the streets are. But overall, I think the story works. I mean, I touched on the themes of the director's cut earlier. I think as it stands, you can see there's some good stuff in there, and I think Val is very good, and Nicole Kidman, she's I don't know, she's got a lady boner for Bruce Wayne and Batman. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of that really. It's amusing, if anything. I think that's maybe a 3 out of 5, 3 stars for this film. But I think the director's cut really is going to help this film, and I can't wait to see it. I'd like to do a review of it if they ever get to releasing it. And just to finish off with a little bit about myself. As I said in previous reviews, I'm in no way connected to the studios. I've got my own opinions. There's no free tickets. There's no incentives for me to give a good review. I know a lot of the other channels do have kind of biased reviews, even though they say they don't. They'll get their little bonuses cut off if they're too honest. So that's it from me. That's my review of Batman Forever. And please join me again soon. Like and subscribe and all that jazz. Speak to you later. Take care. Bye now.